Hello everybody and welcome back to another astrophotography video. And in today's video, I'm going to be capturing the Heart Nebula. You can actually capture the Heart and Soul Nebula using a kit lens, but I don't want to bring that out and take all my filters off and put them on my kit lens because that's a couple hours work. So I'm just going to be capturing it with my Skywatcher evolux 62 ED, which is probably one of the most versatile telescopes that you can get today. My name is Adrian and you're watching the Adrian Astro channel. All right, so I am as far back in my backyard as I possibly can be. It's concrete and then it just falls off into grass. The reason for that is because my telescope is very low to the ground. Like I'm squatting right now. It may not look like it's very low to the ground because of my camera angle, but it's around to my chest length here. And this thing's probably, I'd say, like 5 feet. All right, now capturing the Heart Nebula requires some meticulous planning. And there's 3 things that you kind of need to watch out for. 1, you definitely need a filter if you're in a light polluted area like me. So that means you shouldn't have a lot of light pollution, you shouldn't have a full moon, and you should have a H-alpha or a UHC filter or a nebula filter, whatever your cup of tea is in terms of nebula filters. Now, I think you can guess which one I have. I only have 1 out of 3. I only have the UHC filter. I have some really bad light pollution south, and I've got a full moon rising as we speak. Now, thankfully, I'm shooting north, which is back there. That means that there isn't going to be a lot of light pollution because farmers up north are a little bit better at light pollution and maintaining their lights on their property instead of having a store down the road that just shoots light pollution up. There's no shades on the lights or anything. So unfortunately, south, I can't ever capture the Milky Way or any of those targets like Antares, which includes Rho, M3, or maybe it's M4, the Milky Way, the Lagoon Nebula, stuff like that I can't really capture because of that light pollution. But I'm going to be shooting north, and so that should help. Probably going to have some really bad gradient with the full moon as well as the light pollution because there's still light pollution where I am directly, and so it kind of, as it rises up into the top part of the night sky, there's obviously going to be a gradient, but that's why we have calibration frames, which is probably one of the most unexciting parts of astrophotography. Typically, I don't ever do my calibration frames. There's typically always one cloudy day that I take my calibration frames, like ISO 100 to 1600, which I never go over 1600 because that just means there's a lot of noise in my phone. Speaking of my camera, I have some really bad news regarding it. My screen on the back of my Nikon D3400 doesn't work anymore. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just like a thing where it's getting old. This camera was pre-owned before me, and it's a couple years old already, and I've been having it outside 24/7. Now, obviously, cameras like this, they're just like a point-and-shoot camera. Typically, they're not made for outdoor use 24/7, but I think that it just being outdoor all the time with hot temperatures going into cold and then back and forth, kind of sped up that process of deterioration. Now I've opened the camera, the ribbon cords are fine, the ribbon cord connectors are fine. There's nothing wrong with the screen itself. The screen still works when I plug it into a separate display thing like on my Pi. There's a ribbon cord connector that does display, and it works perfectly fine. I can't find any replacement parts, and so unfortunately this camera I'm gonna have to retire it very soon and get a astronomy camera, but those are a lot of money. Svbony ZWO, if anybody wants to sponsor me, then just email me. Here I've got my Skywatcher evolux 62 ED. Now the logo is covered by this dew heater. This is just a Svbony dew heater, 5-volt 2-amp. Now, if you're wondering what this is, I've labeled guide and main, and then on the connectors down there with my power strip there's a label on it that says power and main, and so, or not my guide and main, and so my guide camera I typically keep on like medium because this thing is all metal. It doesn't need to heat up that much, but this I always keep on high because it's got to go through this dew shield, and then it's got to go through the the optic carrier. So it's quite a ways to go, and so that high temperature really helps. All right, I don't know if you can see me. Pardon my mic. I've got it on my necklace, and so it's kind of going back and forth with it. But here I've got my ZWO ASI 120mm. This is a monochrome guide camera. I'm using this for my guiding, obviously, as you can see with this guide scope right here. And then we were just talking about this dude right here. This is my Nikon D3400. In that little narrow tube here, it's my UHC filter. And yeah, so let's go ahead and go to the mount. Now, I'm sure you can see that it's kind of hard. Oh, actually, you know what I can do? I can lower this. All right, so it's kind of hard to see, but this is my Explore Scientific iExos 102 PMC 8 GO-TO tracker with Bluetooth system. Mouthful, but that's what the listing is. Now, I've got this on my telescope roller, and I'm using a 8-pound counterweight because my setup itself is 8 pounds around. It's around like 7.5 or exactly 8 because this thing all the way at the bottom counterweights it perfectly. I don't want to throw on another counterweight because that's just adding weight to it for no reason. Well, one works perfectly fine. But yeah, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and switch on my doohieres. Cool little switch. This one is guide. So I'll leave this one on medium, and then this is my main. We'll go all the way up. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. Now you may hear some fans. Maybe a good time to show you my cooler. You can even see that. Go ahead and bring this down a bit. There it is. All right, so I put a fan here. I just zip tied a fan because this Peltier cooler likes to condensate a lot, and so I'm using this fan to blow the condensation off. It still keeps the camera nice and cold. I bought this off of Easy Cargo. It was already pre-assembled, which is really nice. And I just stuck it on the bottom of my camera near the sensor, and so far so good. So it keeps the temperature around 15 degrees Celsius lower than the ambient. So if it was 80 degrees out here, it would be keeping this thing at around 65. Yeah, it'd be keeping it around 65 Fahrenheit. It's not the best. Professional cooled cameras do better, obviously, because they've got actual Peltier cooling systems on the sensor itself. So if this was on the sensor itself, it'd probably be way better in terms of cooling. But I don't want to take apart the camera, because if I fix this screen back here, then it'll be good to go. But if I put this thing inside of the camera, it's probably going to condensate. Electronics do not like water. All right, so I've got all the lights off. I'm going to show you where Cassiopeia rises. You can probably already see it right there. Still got to focus. I'm probably going to focus using Antares since it's already low to the horizon, and it won't be such a big slew like Vega up there. But I would like to focus on the full moon, but it's kind of in the trees, so I can't really get that. If you look right there. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and slew over. I'll focus, and then I'll update you guys probably when I go ahead and slew over to the Heart Nebula. Alright, good morning everybody. I've got some really bad news. Apparently, my mount didn't meridian flip, and it was hitting my tripod leg the entire morning for at least 3 hours. It was sitting like this, hitting my tripod leg. So that's great. It's also really cloudy. I don't know why. There wasn't supposed to be clouds, but it is what it is. I'm gonna clean up, probably do my flats, and then I will probably see you guys on the computer. I imaged this target for 2 nights in a row, and it gave me around 14 hours of total integration time. I'm so glad to finally be back and making videos for you guys, and I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, until next time, clear skies.